Hello. So today we're going to provision Apple devices so that they can use EAP-TLS with a certificate issued with Meraki Systems Manager. We're going to start in Access Manager and Certificates. If you already have Systems Manager within your organization, you are likely to see that the certificate authority for your Meraki organization has automatically been added here. The only thing to make sure is that we can edit this and we can make sure that it is enabled. The next thing that we need to do in this page is to download the Radius CA certificate. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that we've done that, we can actually go to our Systems Manager configuration. I'm going to go to Systems Manager and I'm going to go to Settings. I'm going to click on Add Profile and I'm going to make sure it's a device profile. We'll give this a name, Apple EAP-TLS for Access Manager. We're going to say no devices for the moment whilst we configure it. Let's go to Add Settings, and the first thing that we need to do is to actually add that Radius certificate that we've just previously downloaded. So let's go to Choose File and we'll upload that. I'm just going to click Save for the moment, and you can see that the issuer has already been added in, which is excellent. The next thing that we need to do is to actually give the device a unique certificate. So I'm going to go to SCEP certificate. I'm going to give this a name and just call it AM Client Cert. Quite simple. Now, the name that we give the certificate is really important for you for identification for when it joins the network. We can use something as simple as SM Device ID, but if you actually want to see what users are actually on the network, we can do that as well. So what we can do is we're going to type in CN equal, then $, and we get all of these different dynamic things up here. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to do device serial. We'll get rid of the space that's in there. There's nothing else that we really need to do. The only other thing really would be to suggest that we auto renew the certificates within a month of expiration. Let's click Save. So that's our certificate sorted. The last thing that we need to do is to configure Wi-Fi. So we're going to type in our SSID, Acme Core. I'm going to not select auto join for the time being, just for the purposes of this demonstration, but I am going to disable MAC address randomization. I'm going to go to Security, select WPA2 and TLS. I'm now going to go to Trust, and you can see that because we've added our certificate up here, our Radius certificate, we can actually add this in here, which is excellent. The last thing that we need to do is to go to Authentication. Now you'll notice that we've got username and password in here, but we're not doing EAP-TLS for this device, we're doing TLS. So we can go to Identity Certificate and select AM Client Cert that we created just here. And now we can click Save. So relatively straightforward. Now that we've configured this, we can go and deploy it to our device. What I would suggest that you do is test this with 1 or 2 devices first before deploying it to all devices. Let's go ahead and click Save. Before we go back to Access Manager, we're just going to have a look at how this manifests itself on the device. Let's scroll down and you will note that we can see that we've had an install profile response received, and it's actually installed our setting there, which is quite neat. So let's now go over to Access Manager and see what this looks like. I've already gone to my device and I've clicked on Wi-Fi and selected my Acme core. So let's actually have a look what this looks like in the session log. And as you can see, we named our certificate with the serial number of the device. So this is why it's important to consider what name you give devices, whether it be a combination of username and some device identifier or something else. But you can see quite clearly that this device has joined. So just to recap, this is how we provision Systems Manager with a network profile and a unique client certificate so we can join Access Manager enabled networks using EAP-TLS. Thank you.